Good evening and welcome to the evening news for today, Friday, January 7, 2022. I am Timothy Jaikaran. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Oil funds will be used to lay foundation for developmental explosion, says NANDLALL. PNCR to send Norton to Parliament as opposition leader. 847 new COVID-19 cases, 2 deaths recorded in 1 day. CANU intercepted 2.1 tons of GANJA, 41 kg of cocaine in 2021. Husband pulled trigger in JOHANNA murder-suicide, says source. And Venezuelan national charged for murder of colleague. Now for the news in detail. With the Natural Resource Fund legislation now in place, the way has been paved for the government to access Guyana's oil revenues through the National Assembly to propel Guyana's developmental agenda. More in this report.
This is according to Attorney General and Legal Affairs Minister NANDLALL during his weekly program Issues in the News earlier this week. He said that 2022 is a landmark year in Guyana's development trajectory.
This year will be the first year that Guyana will be receiving proceeds from its rich oil and gas sector that will be used to develop Guyana and will be used to transform the lives of every single Guyanese. All of that is scheduled to happen this year. This year, as I said, is a landmark year for the developmental agenda of Guyana. There are so many major projects that will kick off this year. This year we will witness the presentation of the largest budget in Guyana's history, and that budget will lay the foundation of the developmental explosion.
There is currently over US $534 million in the Natural Resource Fund being held at the Federal Reserve Bank in New York. According to NANDLALL, these monies will be used to not only create new opportunities but also enhance traditional sectors.
The year 2022 will see the beginning of some of the largest transformational projects ever executed in our country in a major way. And we are structuring the developmental agenda of this country so as not to concentrate too much on the oil and gas sector, but to use the proceeds from that sector to develop our traditional sectors.
NANDLALL went on to say that every single Guyanese will benefit from these resources, but added that there needs to be cohesion amongst the people.
This year is the year that will transform Guyana into a completely different place. And it is the expectation of your government, it is the hope of our government that all hands will be on deck. We don't want to leave any grouping of Guyanese behind. We want everyone to be on this train to prosperity. This is not the time for divisive politics. This is not the time for ethnic strife. This is not the time for racial insularity. This is the time for cohesion. This is the time for togetherness. This is the time for national unity.
The Legal Affairs Minister noted it is for this reason that government proceeded with the passage of the NRF and local content legislations in the National Assembly last week, despite protest by the PNU-AFC. President Dr. Irfan Ali has already signed these into law. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manakchand.
The Health Ministry on Friday reported that over the past 24 hours, a total of 847 new COVID-19 cases were detected, as well as 2 deaths. Bisham Mohammed reports.
This was according to Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony during his daily updates on Friday. This now brings the total active cases to 4,295 throughout Guyana, while the death toll climbs to 1,066.
So the cases that we have recorded over the last 24 hours are approximately 847 new cases, and over the 24-hour period we've also had 2 deaths. Right now, with the 847 new cases, that has taken our numbers up quite significantly of active cases. So we currently have 4,295 active cases across Guyana.
With new infections, the health minister noted that Region 4 has the highest number of active cases, while noting that less tests are being done in Region 8, hence only one case was detected in that region.
29 in Region 1, 74 in Region 2, 351 in Region 3, 2,789 in Region 4, 89 in Region 5, 438 in Region 6, 113 in Region 7, one case in Region 8, but again, as I explained on the last occasion, this would be an artifact because they are not doing a lot of testing in Region 8 for some reason. Region 9, we have 208 cases. Region 10, 203 cases. So the total with all our regions right now stands at 4,295 cases.
With respect to hospitalization, the minister stated that the number of persons in the intensive care unit at the NANDLALL facility has increased.
So right now we have 80 persons in hospital, with 52 of them currently at the Ocean View Hospital. We have 5 of those persons in the ICU at Ocean View. And generally across the system of the hospitalized patients, we have 14 of them who are on oxygen.
On Thursday, a whopping 967 cases were reported along with 4 deaths. 2 of the persons who died on Thursday were fully vaccinated, while 1 received their first dose of the vaccine and 1 person was unvaccinated. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
We are now joined by Vanu Manikchan, who reports that at least 20% of the adult population in Guyana are still unvaccinated, while immunization of the 12 to 17 age cohort is lagging, according to Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony.
Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony said that while vaccination figures have gone up slightly due to more persons returning for either their second dose or booster shots, there is still a large portion of the adult population that is yet to take a COVID-19 vaccine.
So we're seeing more people coming for the booster, which is a good thing. But there's still a lot of people who are unvaccinated, meaning that they have not gotten a single dose as yet. That's approximately 20% of our adult population still remains unvaccinated.
Recent vaccination figures show that some 413,376 persons, or 80.6% of the adult population, have received the first dose, while 298,954, or 58.3% of them, are fully vaccinated with both doses.
So with adults, we still have a lot of people who need to come in for their first dose. And of those who received their first dose, there's still a lot of people, approximately 115,000, who need to come back to get a second dose. And then in terms of the booster doses, we've had over the last couple of days a slight increase. So we are now at 15,396 booster doses being given.
With regards to the adolescent age group, that is 12 to 17, the health minister disclosed that some 30,829, or 42.3%, have received the first dose, and of that amount, 21,957, or 30.1%, are fully immunized. Guyana started vaccinating this age cohort in September last year, and with schools reopening this week for full classroom learning for most levels, Dr. Anthony is encouraging that more students get their vaccines in order to protect themselves and others, especially during this rapid rise in cases.
There are lots of students who are going back to school who remain unvaccinated. And if you want to stay safe in school, one of the best ways of doing so is to ensure that you get your vaccination. So there's a lot of room here for improvement, and we really need parents and teachers and the students themselves to go out and get vaccination. Of course, because they're under the ages of 18, they would need to get parental permission. But they need to go and get vaccinated because it would help them and it would protect them.
Meanwhile, the Guyana government is working on sourcing vaccines for the 5 to 11 age group. Reporting for the Evening News, Fanu Manikchand.
21-year-old Venezuelan national Elith Osorio Dominguez was on Friday remanded to prison for the murder of Animal Sonja, 51, also a Venezuelan national, at Arrow Mountaintop Cayuni River. He made a virtual appearance before Magistrate Sherdal Isaacs Marcus at the Georgetown Magistrate Court and was not required to plead to the charge when it was read to him. As such, he will make his next court appearance on March 14, 2022 at the Camarang Magistrates Court. It was reported that the murder was committed on January 1, 2022 during an argument over raw gold. The accused reportedly armed himself with a piece of wood and struck the victim to his head, causing him to fall to the ground where he subsequently died. The suspect had escaped but was arrested by police a few days later. Head of the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit, James Singh, on Thursday reported that the unit had intercepted 2.1 tons of cannabis and 41 kilograms of cocaine in 2021. Here are the details in this report.
A breakdown of the ganja seized show that a whopping 1,027 kilograms were intercepted in Region 4, 481 kilograms in Region 6, 457 kilograms in Region 2, 6.4 kilograms in Region 5, and 4.4 kilograms in Region 10. With respect to the cocaine, 23.5 kilograms were seized in Region 4, 17.4 kilograms in Region 2, a small amount of 0.16 kilogram in Region 6. In addition, 3.1 kilograms of ecstasy were confiscated in Region 4. During an interview with the Evening News, Singh explained that the seizures and the ability of CANU to execute its function are a result of the support by the government of Guyana. He noted that while the unit has been successful in putting a dent in the drug trade in 2021, there is still a lot of work that has to be done. Quote, "With the figures in Region 4, primarily Georgetown, and Region 6, we intend to boost our presence in those areas. As a matter of fact, CANU is deployed across the country to make the communities and ultimately the country safer for citizens," end of quote, Singh said. He noted that the mandate of the unit is to ensure illicit drugs are gotten rid of within the communities so that the communities can be safe for citizens to traverse freely. Quote, "Secondly, we do not want Guyana to be labeled as a narco state. We want the drug traffickers to know that Guyana is not a country to do such business," end of quote. Singh, however, believes that getting rid of the drugs off the street is not enough. As such, he noted that the unit has been working with several ministries, including education, health, and social protection. However, he noted that the unit has a multi-agency approach, which assisted greatly in the execution of its mandate. Bishar Mohammed, The Evening News.
Coming up, husband pulled trigger in Sarah Johanna murder-suicide, says source, and PNCR to send Norton to Parliament as opposition leader.
Is coming to the West Indies. Be there January 14th to February 5th. Get your free ticket at www.u19cwc.com/tickets.
Massey is by your side as we continue the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. In collaboration with One Cart, you can now get your groceries delivered or you can pick up curbside. Call, email or WhatsApp your order to us. This service is available at both Providence and Turkine locations. Delivery and pickup between 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The fee is based on location. Orders must be paid in cash and placed 24 hours in advance. Special conditions apply. Remember to always protect yourself and those around you by wearing your masks. Also, don't forget to wash your hands and maintain a distance of 6 feet at all times around persons. Massey Stores. Our family serving your family.
Good evening, welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. The Central Executive Committee of the People's National Congress Reform has decided that newly elected leader of the party, Aubrey Norton, must sit in the National Assembly and hold the position of the country's opposition leader. Find out more in this report.
This was revealed by PNCR leader Aubrey Norton during a press conference at Congress Place on Friday.
Party Central Executive has decided that the leader of the opposition and the leader of the party should be one person.
This now means that Norton would replace Joseph Harmon as leader of the opposition. The PNCR leader said he will be discussing this matter with Harmon before Wednesday. But just last week, Harmon, who lost his bid for the PNCR leadership to Norton, had insisted that he should remain opposition leader, but noted that he would step down if the majority of the PNCR executives decide that he should.
The Central Executive met, discussed it, and arrived at that conclusion. One of the arguments they made that it has been the convention in the party, and the second argument is that it provides for better coordination and control of the activities of the party and for better strategizing to ensure efficacy.
Meanwhile, with the new leadership of the party elected at the December 2021 Congress and Norton now heading to Parliament, a shake-up amongst the current cohort of opposition members of Parliament is likely, something which Harmon does not believe should happen. But changes to the lineup of the opposition parliamentarians would have to be done by the representative of the party's list. David Granger, who Norton replaced as party leader, currently holds that post. Norton said the PNCR Central Executive also believes that the leader of the party should be the representative of the list as well.
Because historically, the leader of the party and the representative list have been one and the same person. It is true that with the advent of the coalition, there were some compromises that occurred, and there are cases where it wasn't the case. But you are also aware that at the last election, it was again placed back together, and we have therefore returned to the tradition, which we believe is in the best interest of the party and the country.
Reporting for the Evening News, Fanu Manekchand.
Thomas Kite, called Taco, one of the two men wanted by the police for the December 23, 2021 double murder at Nasano Landing, Northwest District, Region 1, has surrendered to the police. Kite surrendered at Matthews Ridge Police Station on Thursday in the company of his attorney-at-law, Bernard De Silva. He was immediately taken into custody as investigations into the murders continue. Also wanted for the double homicide is Kirtland Damon, called Carter or Bullet. The two men are accused of killing 29-year-old Sherwin Goddett, a gold miner of Dredge Creek, Upper Pomeroon, and Sean France, 21, of Akawini Creek, Pomeroon, during an altercation. The post-mortem performed on the bodies of 25-year-old Nicholas Lawachi and his wife Elizabeth Lawachi confirmed that they both died from gunshot injuries. In this report, you will hear that the husband is the one suspected of pulling the trigger. Bisham Mohammed has the details in this report.
The autopsies were performed by government pathologist Dr. Niyal Singh, who indicated that her husband sustained one gunshot injury to the head, while the wife was shot once to the head and once to the abdomen. However, a source close to investigations stated that from all indications, the husband was the one who pulled the trigger. It is believed that the woman was shot to the abdomen first, then to the head, above her right eye. After shooting his wife, the man turned the gun to himself and pulled the trigger, the source related. Nevertheless, the reason for committing such an act is yet to be established, since relatives stated that the couple who tied the knot in August last lived a happy life. Up to Thursday evening, relatives were still seeking answers as to the reason for the man committing the act. The furious relatives also refuted reports which claimed that the young man was involved in the illicit drug trade, and as such, the couple was murdered after a drug deal went wrong. The couple was found by a relative on Tuesday morning with gunshot wounds to their bodies. They were last seen alive on Sunday, but based on the state of their bodies, detectives believe that they might have been dead for more than 24 hours. They were found in a blood-soaked bed with a gun suspected to be the weapon used to commit the act. 3.2 spent shells were found in the bedroom, one on the bed, one on the floor, and the other about 6 feet from the man's body. A .32 pistol was also 2 feet east of his left hand. The gun was reportedly registered to his father, who died a few years ago. Further, a quantity of suspected cannabis, which when weighed amounted to 370 grams, was found in the couple's room. Nicholas Lauchi is expected to be buried on Sunday. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
The National COVID-19 Task Force has slammed misleading and inaccurate statements which suggest that the opposition is excluded from the task force. In fact, the task force stated that these patently false statements could only be construed as an attempt to score cheap political points out of a global health crisis. In a statement, it reiterated that the National COVID-19 Task Force comprises members of the government, opposition, security forces, regulatory agencies, religious bodies, and private sector. Specifically, the regional chairpersons of all 10 administrative regions, including Region 4, 7, and 10, which are controlled by the APNU AFC, are members of the task force. Additionally, the National COVID-19 Task Force is supported by the regional task forces, which are chaired by the regional chairmen of the respective regions and include RDC councillors from both government and opposition. No group, agency, or stakeholder has ever been denied the opportunity to participate or have their issues addressed by the task force. The National COVID-19 Task Force remains open to contributions from any interest group. It therefore condemns these baseless and mischievous statements by the opposition. There is a need for more health services in Baracara, a farming community along the Kanji River, Region 6. The lack of adequate health services was highlighted as the Regional Health Department kicked off its 2022 medical outreach program. Andrew Carmichael reports.
Poor health facilities and a lack of adequate infrastructure for those in the agricultural sector are some of the major issues affecting residents of the riverine community of Baracara. The community, with just under 500 residents, is also being plagued with a lack of job opportunities, especially for the youth. Nevertheless, Monday's visit by the team was highly appreciated as residents got a chance to get their COVID-19 shots and get tested for the virus. Apart from that, other medical concerns were addressed as the team, which comprised several doctors, attended to over 100 persons. Diabetic patients in the past have complained of a lack of medical supplies at the health center in the area. Notwithstanding that, head of the visiting team, Dr. Diane Thomas, related that the staff of the health center was trained to conduct COVID-19 tests.
We had a total of 16 first and second dose vaccines of COVID-19. We also had 10 VIA done today. For the medical clinic, we had a total of 78 persons. We even sanitized the health center and the neighboring school. And we also did 4 COVID tests, 4 RDT tests, which were all negative. So in all, as we kick off this year, 2022, it was very successful. And hopefully we can continue this in the first Monday in February.
Checking and at the same time, we do check for infections. So In case you have an infection, the doctor is right here right away to give you treatment for whatever infection you might have at the same time. Human papilloma virus. You ever hear about the HPV vaccine? Good. That is a vaccine that it is given to both males and females.
I feel so happy to see that the health team coming back here, because when the health team come, we can able to diagnose our cases and that we can able to have medical service.
Well, I'm more than happy because we live in an area where it's far from the town and from the facility, health facility, and we don't have a medic and we don't have no professional in here. So I'm so happy when this team come in, and I hope they can come in regularly.
The Baracara mission was first established at a location referred to as Catharinatsburg, a small wood-cutting settlement approximately 95 miles from New Amsterdam in 1839. The village has a health center and a primary school. There is no electricity in the village except for a few residents who can afford generators. Residents are primarily involved in logging and ground provision cultivation. Residents claim Baracara's population, which now stands at approximately 350 persons, was much larger, but has since seen a rapid decrease over the years due to a lack of modern facilities and services. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
And now for a look at the bridge reports. The Demerara Harbour Bridge is scheduled to close on Saturday, January 8, 2022 at 9:30 for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Saturday, January 8, 2022 at 8:20 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. Sarwan appointed to CWI Senior Junior Selection Panels, and Jaden Seals ready for ODI challenge against Ireland. Details of these stories and more in the Sportscast sponsored by Macorp coming up on the other side of the break.
Planning a cleanup? We can help. Sevon's Waste Management skip bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanups, or construction sites. It's simple. Step 1, just pick up the phone and give us a call. Step 2, we deliver the skip bin size of your choice. Step 3, load the skip with all of your junk. And finally, step 4, we take it all away. It's that simple. Bins are also available in various sizes, so there's no job that's too big or too small. Call Sevon's Waste Management today at 218-1455 or 218.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality, or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Satco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store, located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rijnveld.
Win big with Ultra Lubricants. Win a Toto backpack every week. To enter, purchase any Ultra Lubricants. Send us a picture of your receipt via WhatsApp to 604-5810. Winners will be randomly chosen weekly. Promotion ends February 28, 2022. ISG, the best opportunity to make the right choice.
Welcome back to this evening's Sportscast, sponsored by Macorp.
Hi, my name is Dwayne Welch of the Macorp Agriculture Division. representing the KSIH brand. The KSIH has designed, created, and developed the best harvest system for superior quality grain and excellent productivity. The AXO-Flow system makes harvesting much easier, regardless of field condition, with a 26% more capacity for transport and distribution of harvested materials, with a discharge tube being 32 seconds faster. That will make it more effective and efficient for you, the customer.
Cricket West Indies announced